Most people spend their entire careers hoping to become a judge. Our guest today became one and then chose to walk away and start a business, not out of failure, but out of vision. Janine Barbera-Dalli has held some of the most demanding judicial roles in New York State, including presiding over a human trafficking part of Suffolk County Court. She has been the very worst. She has seen the very worst that the legal system can do to families, and the very best that skilled, compassionate interventions can accomplish. Today, she runs her own mediation and divorce coaching practice, and she is here to tell us what it looks like when a woman with 3 decades of legal authority decides to write her own next chapter. Welcome back.
Welcome to the Passion to Payday podcast.
We are your hosts, Becky, Sampson, and
Heather Laughter.
This is where stories turn into strategy and passion turns into profit.
Every episode, you'll hear how everyday women build real income doing what they love, and how you can too.
Turn your passions into paydays. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. Another episode of Passion to Payday. I'm Becky Sampson and
Heather Laughter.
Heather Laughter.
Everybody.
This is an exciting one.
Yes. It's kind of a big deal. Janine's kind of a big deal.
She's kind of a big deal. We're really excited to have Janine on because, as many of you know, at least on my platform, I've been in the legal field for the last couple of years. And man, what a privilege that we get to have a former judge. Like, seriously? This is cool.
I know. Anyway, I'm super excited to introduce you to Janine Barbera-Dalli. Most career pivots are born from necessity. Hers was born from conviction. So after more than 3 decades as a district court judge, acting county court judge, presiding judge of the human trafficking part, and chief counsel to a New York state senator, she looked at what the litigation process was doing to families and decided there had to be a better way. Today, she's the founder of Divorce Mediation Solutions, a New York-based practice where she serves as a certified divorce mediator and divorce coach, blending her rare combination of judicial insight, legislative experience, and deep emotional intelligence to help couples find what she calls a peaceful divorce. She is also known as the MAT Maven, M-A-T Maven. And today she's going to tell us what it truly looks like to step off the bench and build something entirely your own. Janine, welcome to Passion to Payday podcast.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
I have to say, because I've been in this industry, it is really, and I'm being genuinely like saying, I thank you for doing what you do or what you did and what you do now. Because a lot of people don't understand the legal system. They don't understand the complexities of it. And I love that you have decided to go beyond the bench, right? To still keep giving back. So tell us kind of like the backstory of like when you first started. You shared something before the show started about like why you even went to law school and how that has been a common theme all the way through to where you are today.
Well, I was the first one in my family to go to college, period. At a time when, most women who were going to college were becoming teachers and nurses, and I wanted to be a lawyer. And I remember my father saying, well, why do you want to do that? I said, because I want to help other women and I want to help women and children, do better in life and protect them. And so that's why I originally went to law school. Now, unfortunately, when I got out of law school, I was not able to join the Legal Aid Society, which I had done some internship for because salaries were just too low and I had too many loans to pay off. And I got involved in litigation in the matrimonial field almost right away. And I found that I had a flair for it. You have to be somewhat compassionate when you're representing people in their divorce situations.
Right.
And I did that. I did mostly matrimonial law for almost it was about 26 years before I was elected to the district court bench. And then I got on the district court bench and I thought there I was going to be able to make the big difference. Here's where I was going to save people.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit of a disappointment, to be honest with you. I served 6 years in different capacities. Some of it was very rewarding, where I was able to help some young people. And as the presiding judge of the human trafficking part, I saw some of the worst society could do to women who were victims. And I decided when I left the bench that I was going to try to do something about that if I could, before they got into the criminal justice system. And eventually, when I retired, I decided to do some mediation on my own, because I was doing that in the courthouse anyway. And I knew what divorce did to couples, and I knew how mediation could be a better way to go about this. And I also met somebody who had been in a very bad domestic violence situation. And we got together, and I told her what I had wanted to do in my life that I never had a chance to do. And in 5 days, we had started a not-for-profit called Freebird, where we do help women and children in domestic violence situations get their life together, get them in order, and help them find their passion, which is something I love doing. So we do.
Well, you're on the right podcast. Yeah, no, I love that you do that. I mean, because there's, especially coming out of a divorce, right? Like, there's a lot of people that feel like they have to reinvent themselves.
Exactly.
And they're like, who am I now? What am I going to do? And maybe even if they've been in a marriage that has been solely, that other person has been the sole provider. So it's like, okay, what does light you up?
Right. And how can we get you, on a place where you can stand on your own, take care of yourself and your children? I mean, I think that's very important, even for young people, to find out. We like to do seminars in schools to teach women, you have to be able to stand up for yourself, because there's not always going to be someone there to take care of you.
I used to tell my daughter, a man is not a plan.
There you go.
Yeah. And I love that you said in your 501c3 that you actually train these domestic violence victims on how to become real estate agents and stand on their own 2 feet that way. And I will say there's so many layers of that, right? You have to have a great deal of confidence, and you have to have a great deal of self-worth, and a great deal of, what's the word? A real word for chutzpah, like moving forward, right? Like, you got to have some moxie and be able to do that. And anybody that I've ever run across who's been a victim of domestic violence, emotional abuse, any sort of abuse, that's a building process in and of itself. And so I commend you so much, and your business partner, for doing that. And before we came on air, you were talking about how she remembered you, and your face just lit up when you shared the story, because you made an astronomical difference in this woman's life and in many other women's lives because of it. So thank you so much. Kudos to you. Kudos to your partner. What you guys are doing is critical and so awesome. And I'm not even going to ask what makes you passionate, because we've just seen it. So that's the next thing. Actually, could you talk to us? Like, we talked about who your ideal client is. Are you able to kind of narrow that down a little bit for your ideal client, probably for your divorce coaching program?
My ideal client is someone who has hired an attorney already and picks up the phone and calls me and says, listen, I can't get a hold of my attorney. They're very busy. I don't understand this process. Can you walk me through what's happening? Because I really don't understand. I don't understand discovery. I don't understand what this net worth statement is. And especially when they ask me about the complaint and the answer, what am I signing? I get to walk through it all with them, and I do it, at my leisure, because I don't have, 50 clients that I'm dealing with. I don't need or want 50 clients. I want people who I can help and give my time to and take my time with them. And that's what they need. And so that's my ideal client, the one who comes to me and says, help me understand what this process is and help me through it.
Well, you bring up a really good point, Janine, because I think when people are going through divorce, again, they don't understand the process. And attorneys, you don't necessarily want to pay the attorney fee
Right.
and to get the attorney to educate them. I mean, I know when I used to do real estate, I'd always joke with people. I mean, like, I'm going to put you through real estate 101, but they didn't have to pay for that. But when you're dealing with an attorney, you do have to pay for that. And to be able to have somebody that's been there in the trenches as a judge to saying, hey, here's how this is all going. And I always say, the more educated you are, the better you're able to navigate through this process. And I love that you even say that you are nationwide. So it's not just New York. I mean, New York's where you've got your license, but you can do divorce coaching throughout the United States.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Zoom is a fabulous thing now.
Isn't it incredible? What would you say, Janine, what would you say your superpower is?
Getting women to find their passion. I love doing seminars. We go to, especially we go to these halfway houses or shelters where women are at their lowest, their real lowest. And I used to even do this on the bench with some of the young people that would come before me. I used to say, what is your passion? What is it that you love to do? And half the time they would go, I don't know. I said, well, I love to cook. I love watching cooking shows. And my favorite color is purple. And, when you give yourself to other people, they open up to you. And they would come back to me and say, I like to cook too. Or I like to work with animals. And when they find their passion, you can build them up and get them to where they need to be.
That's a beautiful thing. What a wonderful superpower to have. And that's one of the reasons we started this podcast, is to be able to learn about other people's passions and how to make it something for you, right? Not a payday is not necessarily financial. Payday can be on a number of different levels, the fulfillment that you have and the memories that you have and the ways that you've really impacted people. And I love that. Do you have some business goals, or what would make 2026 your best year yet?
I'd love to do seminars where we would take women to different exotic places like Hawaii, have a big seminar there, offer scholarships for them to come there for free.
Yeah.
If we could get some kind of funding to do that, take them away from, the drudgery of where they are, bring them to a place where we could really talk to them and bring a whole bunch of very successful women who started where they were and who are now so successful. I'd love to do something like that.
Sounds like a business retreat.
It does, exactly.
Both Heather and I have done.
Count me in.
Yeah, because and what I love about it is that if you can bring them to a place, and I did live in Hawaii for 5 years. I don't think you knew that, Janine.
No, I did. I love Hawaii.
Yes, I did my retreat in Hawaii for 40 women, and it was so beautiful. I mean, it's just such a beautiful healing place. Because when you can put them in an environment like that where they can just relax and get off of all the stress. And I love that your idea is to bring successful people so that they can see what's possible. Because if they can get their eyes on the goal of the vision in front of them, then they have a easier way letting go of what's been in the past for them. And it's like we talked about the rear view mirror, right? The rear view. What do you say, Heather?
I say the windshield is larger than the rear view mirror for a reason. So look forward, not backwards. And I love what you're doing. I love that the idea of the metaphor of being in a different location, a different world. Hawaii is a different world than, Long Island and Utah, anything else. And the metaphor of saying, I can create a different future.
Anything.
Because my past was not exactly what I had planned for. So now I can be in a different place, creating a different future with the guidance of amazing people like you, Janine. So I appreciated it. Again, what it is that you're doing. Becky, will you ask her the question?
Yeah. Here's a question we like to end the show with is, what does passion to payday mean to you?
I love that, because I've been looking at that logo since we started. And I have to tell you that, I've made money. I've gone on tons of vacations. I've been all over the world. And to me, the most gratifying thing and the most important thing, the biggest payday, if you will, to me, is to see a woman who, before they got involved with us, was really down and out. And when they come to me and say, I am so happy that I met you and your program, because now I am going to make 6 figures this year, which I never in my life thought I could do. If I could bring other women up, to me, that's my payday, because that's why I got into this in the first place.
I know. I love that answer, because it is all about, we always talk about the together, all tides rise, you know, and how important it is to, thank you so much for that. And I'm
having me.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to seeing you do these retreats.
I would love to do these retreats.
I will say that they're a lot of work, and
I think so they are.
They're possible, because it's totally worth it. I know when at the end of mine, I was just like, I was exhausted, but it was so, I mean, it's one of those things that you just never forget, and it stays in your DNA. You know, you're just like, I remember that, those moments and those connections and those memories that are created. So I love that. Well, thank you so much for being willing to come on the podcast today. And let me make sure we have your banner on there.
Okay.
Right there, if you want to contact for mediation, if you'd like to, eventually she's going to do these retreats. Yes. If you want to connect, honestly, the greatest value to me for someone that's going through a divorce is, man, wouldn't you like to have somebody that really, really understands the system to be able to work with? And so if that's you, and if you are going through the divorce, please reach out to Janine. She does nationwide, and I can guarantee you, I mean, even with the little bit I know, that you probably are an amazing mediator with everything that you know. So I appreciate it. And thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Passion to Payday. And that's what happens. Imperfect action. That's okay. And we will see you on the next show.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Janine.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Passion to Payday podcast.
If you're overwhelmed, spinning your wheels, and not seeing the income you want, there's a good chance you're undercharging for what you do.
We're going to change that. So join us live at our upcoming virtual event, May 13th through 15th, where together we'll build your high-ticket offer so your passion finally pays you back.
Save your spot today,
because your passion deserves a payday.